Happy morning to everybody. A great afternoon and a wonderful evening. Friends, success requires energy, wisdom, and friends, people, team members. Three things. So we are aware of this. So anytime we are looking for success, energy, wisdom, and friends. Material success, we need all the three. Even in the spiritual parlance, it is exactly the same. We need those three. Spiritual energy, our meditation energy, meditation wisdom, and soul friends, spiritual friends. It is just that the order of magnitude of each of these that we gain when we come into the path of meditation is different. We're talking of physical energy in case of material life, and we're talking of spiritual energy, that energy field where we start thinking energy, we start thinking communication with energy. We're applying, if my phone doesn't work, you want someone to still send you a message, telepathic communication. We no longer work as pure body energy. We are elevating ourselves, we are that energy field. When we think energy, that's what we move, which is, we know, at much, much grander scale. Wisdom, we know it. We are learning something core. Thoughts create reality. We are all one. There is abundance for everybody. When we become one with other people, then we become more and more successful. You can look at any exceptions, maybe there, but otherwise, all successful leaders, they always had the ability to become, expand their circle of people to a bigger. That's what we call in materially Rolodex, connections. The more connected you are, the more we know that then there is a higher amount of success. So we're learning a lot of wisdom, which is far too powerful. We're saying we are the architect of our life, not somebody else. We're saying there's no point blaming somebody. You've created a situation, attracted a situation with our own observation. So that meditation wisdom is liberating. That we're saying express yourself. Express yourself. It is important that you live for you. When you become happy, then people around you can be happy. We cannot give what we don't have. So some of it we might have learned, but we are learning again. We are saying we are that infinite power, not somebody else outside. We have that power. Lord Venkateshwara is there, Krishna is there, Jesus is there, Buddha is there. We are also equally the same. We are no lesser. So the meditational wisdom is quite liberating, quite empowering. So meditational energy, meditational wisdom, and meditational friends. And this is one of the biggest thing that we all gain, that I have seen personally. The friends that we have, it's not anymore a transactional friendship. Not transactional friendship anymore. It is a totally unconditional giving, unconditional happiness and giving in the friendship that we make here in these forums, and then we come into meditation. We met a whole set of new people, only been meeting on Zoom in the last few months, few weeks, some of them, they came over in the weekend. It's amazing. It's like much closer than family members. If you have to put family as the closest thing, Then much closer than family members, very unconditional. Whether it's Anusha, or Veena, or Arvind, or whoever that is, or Rakesh, everybody were there. I just met them first time. It becomes so unconditional. So the friendships are much more lasting. Friendships are more supporting. Always wanting to say, okay, so this is what you want to do, I am there for you. We always want to give much more easily. And of course, then we also gain the strength to receive equally. The spiritual success comes when we become equanimous to taking and giving. A lot of times we get stuck in only taking, only giving, but not taking. Many successful people cannot ask, cannot take. They're offered, let's say, please come home for dinner, they cannot take it. They cannot ask, but then we have to develop that ability to ask and give. Give is there easily, but so many ask is not there. But we become natural. Yesterday or day before I talked about it. We got to demand and take. Demand and take. We demand and take spiritual wisdom from someone. Materially we ask and leave it. If it comes, great, take it. But spiritually, we go and then demand, pursue, chase, and then take what it is. That's another way of dealing, by the way. Materially we ask and leave. When you're on the path, materially ask and leave. But spiritually, if you want a class, you want some wisdom, you want a book, chase the person. Don't leave it until you get it. So material, spiritual energy, meditation wisdom, and meditation friendships. These three is what we fundamentally gain and which are empowering because they are an order of magnitude higher from what we normally are introduced to. It gives us that big picture, visionary thinking. It feels that we are so empowered because people who are around you are always wishing to have your success without necessarily looking to see what is in it for me. They move away from what is in it for me to how can I support. That's how this Buddhasya Foundation. Our vision, our wish is to create awareness about meditation and then teach meditation to everybody, and it is just growing because unconditionally people want to just give and then ultimately your goal gets supported. So is the case with material goals also, any goal. So dear friends, meditation is enabling, and these sessions that we are doing is enabling us that meditation energy through our 40 minutes, 45 minutes of practice every day. And then those of you continuing that practice, meditation energy, which makes us whole, which makes us abundant in energy. So health is given, it's byproduct. Health will have to become, because it's so tiny. Health is this, the body is so tiny, it's got to be there. Health has to be there because it's part of that whole energy. Wisdom, which is we have to work. We have to work. We have to be aware and constantly be on it. We have to chase. We have to, anytime we meet a spiritual master, meditation master, we got to see what all I can take. Like that honeybee, take everything that is there from this master as much as possible. Of course, it's abundance that they keep supplying for the master. It's not a problem, but take it. We gain that meditation, and we have to read. We have to read. There's no option. If we don't, when we read, we are expanding our consciousness. So third thing is, of course, then we are automatically gaining our friends. Our current week is about emotional quotient. We'll understand more about this after meditation. So relax yourself. Let's go into one more, this beautiful meditation, which is enabling all these three things for us. Increasing our ability to read, increase our energy, and then, of course, naturally gain all those soul. Yourself. Those of you who are new for meditation, we are doing breath mindfulness meditation, which is anapanasati. Our goal is to empty our mind. We are body, mind, energy complex. And when we rest our mind through meditation, then we are merging our body into this energy. According to quantum physics, we are 99.99% energy, and the matter is so tiny. So in meditation, we withdraw all our thoughts, and as a result, we forget about the matter, the body, the life, So we naturally become what we are, which is deep inside we have that energy and emptiness. That's what we become. So our goal is to empty the mind. And we do that very, very simply by observing our natural breath. The posture for this is close your eyes, remove the specs. 1. Cross your fingers into fingers. Rest your hands comfortably in your lap. Cross your feet at ankle. Cross your feet at ankle. If you're on the floor, just cross-legged. Sit cross-legged. So 3 things: cross your feet, cross your fingers into fingers, and keep your hands comfortably in your lap. Close your eyes. Remove the specs. So that's 3 things in the posture. Be as comfortable. Spine need not be erect. Spine need not be erect, just as comfortable. And then observe the breath. Breath goes in, comes out. Observe a natural breath, no manipulation. That's breath mindfulness meditation. This is where we spend maximum time. Okay. Wonderful. Friendship is the name of everything in meditation. We develop unconditional friendships. And everything is happening through this, what psychology terms as emotional intelligence, emotional quotient. Our relationships initially get enhanced and strengthened. Then relationships slowly get dissolved into friendships. They get significantly enhanced and then they transform into friendships with anybody. Between wife and husband, father and son, mother and daughter. They are initially enhanced significantly and then slowly realize that ultimately what is there is unconditional friendship and acceptance. That binding that we have, that you are this and you are that, so you have to do this for me and I expect you to behave a certain way, all of those will go away as we understand ourselves more and more. Even between what is considered the toughest between spouses, wife and husband. Total acceptance is what we develop and develop and develop. So how is this happening? So let's understand this. Emotional intelligence is self-awareness, self-expression, inspiration, empathy, and engagement. There are 5 areas that we can define emotional intelligence as. Is helping us develop and skill in all these 5 areas. Everything about relationship is all here in this. Self-awareness, self-expression, inspiration are about how we are and then how we deal with ourselves. Self-awareness and self-expression is how we deal with ourselves. Now, inspiration, empathy, and engagement are going into others, and then they're going into others and dealing with others. Self-awareness is just understanding our internal pattern, thoughts, emotions, and all of them, so that as we are aware about ourselves, this also is called mindfulness. We become aware, so we have an opportunity where many people said, I don't react now, I respond. So it is that self-awareness. Self-expression is where we understand ourselves, then we start becoming firm about what's important and then being able to communicate effectively. Living effectively, not just communication, living effectively of what is important to us. Inspiration is because we are enjoying our life so much, then we naturally start radiating that, become inspiration. Because we live, we are happy, we are quiet, we are calm, we are composed. So we inspire people. We are understanding others. We are situational, we are looking at it, we are not sympathizing, but we are empathizing with others and saying, okay, everybody has a point of view. So we are understanding others in dealing with others. Engagement is where we, if all of this skill, we recognize that when we are with people, then our energy, our happiness multiplies. Our happiness multiplies. So meditation is helping us in all these 5 areas. So as we are observing our breath and then emptying our mind, so we are removing a lot of clutter from the mind. Over a period, when we are observed, since we are not increasing, giving the energy to the thoughts that we have, so the thoughts will have, because anything that is not fed, it has to go down. Only our repeated thinking about an event situation is always increasing the energy. Thought, then it keeps becoming bigger and bigger. So when we don't apply our energy, so then the thoughts are coming down, so we have less and less thoughts. So what happens during wakeful time, because we have lesser thoughts, we are less busyness in the mind, then we have an opportunity to start observing whatever that goes in a wakeful state. Whatever that goes. When you are in the car, if you're suddenly thinking, oh, today Monday there's going to be heavy traffic, suddenly we observe it. So we gain the ability to observe our thought patterns, our emotions. When you pass by a cemetery when you're driving, there is a different emotion. Right? Suddenly it brings back some memories potentially of people dying. So and then that might lead to a fear, but now we observe it and say, hey, what's going on? Why am I feeling this way? A reaction pattern where in a business setting, in a group discussion, if somebody makes a comment more directly and saying that doesn't work what you're proposing, then how does it feel? And if there is a person who is always irritating you, what is our reaction suddenly? So we observe it. We get a chance to observe. Before we react, we get a chance to observe. Because as we have less in the mind, less cluttered, so then being at that point is our mind is helping us observe what's happening. It's called self-awareness. We understanding. So the moment we understand our thoughts, we understand our emotions, our feelings, and the moment we observe those reactions that are about to make, and then so with the moment we have that, half the problem is solved. It's 1/3 is about knowing the problem, another 1/3 is understanding and communicating the problem, and only 1/3 is to actually do it. For any problem, anything that is solved, first understand what am I trying to solve, and then put a strategy, a plan around solving it, and then communicate it. That's another 1/3. So 2/3 of it is done just by understanding and then planning and communication. Physically actually doing it is only that lesser and lesser. So a lot is there with the mind faculty is really working and then being successful. So meditation with self-awareness, we are understanding these patterns, and as it is the moment we have an understanding of it, we have an opportunity to correct it. We have an opportunity to rectify it, isn't it? So this is why we immediately gain a lot of self-confidence and worth, because if we are understanding our emotional pattern, and the emotional pattern is to be suddenly get angry out of within no time, you walk up to a counter, airline counter, then the attendant says, "Sir, your flight is cancelled." Or you ask for a window seat, and then they say, "Not available, only middle seat," and then suddenly you get angry. How can you not give me a window seat? You just keep it. You'll only reserve it to other people. So we lose ourselves. So now that we have an observation, that, okay, I'm getting an emotion of anger, and then you have an ability to then hold it back, Your anger is there, then you may hold it back. So then we start developing confidence that we are behaving differently, where we are losing ourselves and then making a laughing stock of ourselves in earlier situations. Now we are more composed, and if we start gaining confidence that, okay, that's great. Because when we lose our temper, we get addicted to something, that misery, where we are greedy, and some of those qualities just come in, but then here we have an opportunity to react and say, why am I being greedy? Why am I being forceful? So when we have these things that we exhibit, and then now you are having more emotional control. So naturally, guess what happens? Obviously, the reaction from people around changes. So we start gaining that self-worth and confidence. Another pattern. We gain confidence when people are no longer commenting on us, naturally, because the environment is giving us feedback. But self-worth, many times we feel guilty. I talked about this in one of the challenges for many women is that the working women, am I doing the right thing by not being at home and taking care of the family because I'm away on work for 10 hours? Then they carry the guilt. And then this whole thing around men and women, that inequality of, okay, they're not fit for a few things and this and that. And as a result, that has been conditioned that many of them feel, okay, can I perform? Am I still performing? Well, they're the best. Feminine energy is the best. They have the multitasking, greatest multitasking capability, greatest holistic synthesizing capability. They want to take people around. Such a beautiful asset if companies can hire more and more women. But then, because of this belief system, they're always constantly trying, am I doing adequate? Am I doing enough? In a work setting, in offices. Am I performing as much as my male colleagues? There is that. But then with meditation, those things that about feeling guilt, that am I taking care of the family, a lot of that go away. Maybe start gaining a self-worth. Because meditation is saying, you are the divine, you have that infinity, you are no less than anybody. So you are equally there to experience your life the way you want it. We're understanding ourselves, we are developing that mindfulness. We talked about eat while you're eating, walk while you're walking, be aware of the speech, be aware of the thoughts. We talked about mindfulness, to be fully present, touch the flowers, talk to the pets, do all of that. That's just enhancing the life of beauty. So because of the self-awareness, that means we are understanding our thoughts, emotions, it is giving us a mindfulness. The second one is self-expression. Because then meditation is bringing us, once we are aware of our thoughts and then we're rectifying and we're changing a negative thought to a positive thought, and then we're holding off of that anger that is coming off. And then as we are bringing in negative to positive, so then we start becoming positive emotion, either neutral emotion or positive emotion, we start bringing out. So when you start bringing out the positive aspect of it, and then if the neutral to positive aspect of it, then naturally you're producing positive actions. Just by being neutral, when somebody says something to you, is a very positive action, isn't it? One of the senior execs, when I was last time when I was leaving from IBM, very senior exec, my peer, I resigned, and so he was not even directly related. I mean, he was sales head, and I was the product, my business head, and he was the overall sales head. So he came in when I was, I resigned, so I am serving the notice, and then so he came to India from the United States. He came to India, and there was a whole day of reviews with my group. With my group, there was a whole day of reviews. And in a meeting, he told me, Chandra, I don't want you to participate in these meetings today, in the reviews today, because I don't want people to be swayed by your presence. He told me straight on my face. He was my peer. And there is absolutely no right or no way one could say it. But however, I mean, he's a great guy. All of us have our own views of it. I love him. He's been phenomenal, fundamental in my the company's success. But there is some understanding a weakness could be. He told me on my face, and I said, there's no way it's my team, my members, and that I am the one who set up the meetings. But he told me not to join. And then I understood the feeling, that the weakness that the individual may have, or that the worries they may have. I said, no problem. I didn't lose my temper. I was telling him that, no, how can you even tell me that? I said, fine. And I just relaxed. I didn't even respond to that. And then I said, I understand you, what you're looking at it. No problem. If that's what is going to empower you, so I'm going to do it, because anyway I'm going to transition out. If that's what is going to empower you, so I'll let the team meet with you. No problem. Anyway, I've enabled my team to be what they need to be and expressive. So we develop a positive action. See, there, just being neutral itself is very positive. When a team got to know about it, they were bubbling with anger. I said, how can that be? How can we do this? I said, guys, just relax. This is important as you are transitioning, so move forward. So we are developing neutral actions, positive actions, become very positive, especially senior leadership. When they're neutral, not reacting, becomes very positive in the interest of, for the company, the people. We gain balance in expressing. Even if you have to express negative emotions, we gain very balance, not a balance. We acknowledge the feelings of somebody. We are very angry when a daughter did something. So we're very angry, but first we acknowledge the feelings. First thing, if you want to get better relationships, acknowledge the feeling. They come with some problem, don't try to give your solution. First acknowledge the feeling. Anybody comes with a problem, acknowledge the feeling, sit, yes, okay, is that what is happening? Okay, fine. But tell you what, this is, if you do this way, it gets better. Acknowledge and then put the point across. So we become balanced in expressing. We gain that inner pose. We become very truthful in meditation. We become very unselfish. Why? Because we are becoming very mindful, we're aware, we're correcting our thought patterns, so as a result, we start producing positive actions. Now, as we produce positive actions, we start becoming firm in what is important to us. Many people at home, where the only thing they do in Indian, especially Indian culture, right? As a homemaker, you are expected to cook. Even why homemakers? Somebody was sharing the other day. I wake up, I wake up at 4:30, I make food for my family, then I immediately take care of the child, put them to school, and then I go work and come back, and I'm expected to work again, cook again. But in meditation, we understand and we start expressing what is important to us. We tire ourselves, we break ourselves in the culture, but then we understand, and then we start positively expressing to our family members. Positively express, this is important to me. Look, this 1 hour of time is my time, my meditation time. I want to read my books. I kept my dancing aside completely, even though before marriage I loved dancing. Tell you what, I'm going to take to that again. We express what is important to us, and then we say the same thing to our managers in office. We're constantly worried. Yesterday there's a discussion with Karthikeyan sir, that if we're constantly worried about survival and what happens to my position, I want to get transferred here and there, then you succumb and then you just follow what others say, and then you never have the right to question. You want something, you will not be able to ask because you're constantly worried about survival. But meditators start gaining that confidence and then said, I can live in any circumstance, which people like Karthikeyan ji are born meditators, they always had it. Successful leaders, many of them have it. So you're confident that you don't look at survival, instead you express what you need. Earlier it is a fear-based or a belief system based, now you break it and then you express what is important to you in office setting too. If people are cutting you off of a design where you feel like I can't challenge a senior person because he's like a technical architect or a technical director, but then now you are, even though you're saying, hey look, this is going to challenge it, but then you're no longer worried if that fellow is going to give a bad comment about you just because you challenge it in a group. You are more looking at and saying, how can I help the company, and how it is truth. You're standing for truth. That's what it means. Being truthful is you're standing for truth. You're not just keeping quiet. We don't find the need to prove a point to somebody when we become self-expressive, because we are confident about expression. So We are putting it and then we're not trying to prove. If somebody says something, okay, I don't have to prove my point to others. You stop arguing. James Redfield, The Celestial Prophecy, talks about how energy is exchanged in every interaction among people. And when you exchange this energy among people, so in an argument, two people are talking, and then one is, every time I put a positive, stronger point, and then I'm sucking that energy from the other person. There's an energy, ball of energy comes to you, you get inflated, they get depleted. Then they make a point, they take it. This whole energy exchange is happening between two people. Argue, and finally one person completely gets depleted, another person is all taken away all that energy into him or her, and so you feel good, the other person feels so down. Is that what we want in arguments? If that's what is happening, we are depleting the energy of the other person, that it go down. Do you really want it? Meditators don't feel the need to prove the point, because just now if somebody made a comment and say, hey, he's a jerk, he does not know anything about you. If someone made a comment, the moment we understand it, we try to go and explain and say, hey, you know what, how can you say this comment? What do you think? Last time I just made a mistake, doesn't mean that I don't know anything. Then you recognize, just because somebody makes a comment, will we lose our worth? You know how much you know. You don't become that just because somebody told something about you. So we don't find the need to prove the point. We say, maybe the guys don't know. You're not changing, you don't become that just because somebody said something about you. We're not bothered about judgments of others, basically. We look at and say, what is relevant to me? I'll take that. The moment you understand that, okay, all of this is unnecessary for me, you just exclude it. If there is a constructive feedback, you take it, otherwise you're not bothered. So we don't find the need to prove the point, friends, and as you do that, naturally we develop a lot of closeness with people. So self-awareness is developing mindfulness, self-expression is living for others, not requiring to prove our points. And then we develop expressing positive emotion. So when we do these two, and then I'm going to talk about the remaining on Friday in our class, about empathy, inspiration, and the social skills. Talk about them on Friday. It's a big subject. But the most important point to understand that we're developing mindfulness, and then we don't find the need to prove points. Not necessary. You don't find the need to explain unnecessarily. And when I learned this long ago from Patricia, then we don't need to give explanations. Explanation means that you still feel somewhere the other person is not believing in you, so you have to explain. Simple. Suppose we came 5 minutes late to the meeting. We say, oh, there is so much traffic was there, and then I got stuck, and so as a result, I couldn't come. Now, just think about it for a moment. What is that value of saying that statement to the other person? A group of 10 people, we tried to give an explanation. There's a lot of traffic, and then so I had to maneuver, and then so I couldn't come. It's not adding any value to anybody. Is it adding any value? Your traffic, your problem. Why should we be brought to that everybody else in the mind? So we don't need to give explanations for people who do not necessarily believe or trust. We are what we are. If they're making judgment because he comes every day late, that's their, I don't know why he comes late in such an important meeting. Of course, we need to be very responsible in making sure we get there 5 minutes before. That's a different thing. But we still don't have to necessarily give explanation, because that's just waste of our energy, their time, their energy. So I've learned we don't have to give explanations, and then people will understand us. If they don't understand, it's their problem. If they're making judgments for small things, it is a challenge. Try it, see it, how it feels. Dear friends, we'll understand more about this on Friday in our masterclass to complete emotional quotient, science of friendship, how we develop relationship with everybody. Just by stopping to prove points, we are developing a lot of relationships. So we thank you, Karthikeyan, for the closing comments. We close the session for today.
Chandra, today you played very effectively the role of a professor of psychology. Beautifully explained how meditation can improve one's attitudes to life, and which is experienced by many people who have gone through it, but you explained it very beautifully. So that's why I said when I wanted to write my newsletter, as meditation is medication, now I start realizing meditation is much more than medication. I'm searching for the right word. Either you or any of the wonderful masters attending the program give me a suggestion to be good. Certainly, meditation is better than medication. See the role of life, relationship with people. People suffer for nothing. You have seen this. Self-inflicted wound, hurt, imagination, and that spoils relations forever. Within the family, mostly people among close to each other only hurt each other. Thank you. You've done a great job today.
Thank you, sir. That's great. Yes, meditation is much more than medication. And it is, if you take an iceberg in the ocean, the tip that is seen is that physical body, then the tip is the physical body, everything seen is the mind, unseen is the intellect, and that ocean is this energy that what we are. So as it goes, as you rightly said, is much more than medication, because medication is dealing with this body and mind in most cases, but there is so much that is there inside. Thank you. So we'll meet again tomorrow at 6 a.m. And tomorrow is a Thursday, professionals where we have external speakers coming in and sharing their transformational experiences. And Friday we're going to complete our emotional intelligence understanding some more with another master class. And then we go on more. So next week we're going to do the manifestation. Exciting for many people who want to manifest things in life. So we're going to understand a lot more the quantum field. If I've talked too much about quantum field, that's all coming next week with manifestation science. It's going to be a lot of packed. We got a lot of packed subject to still go in the next 3 weeks. Thank you all.